The Virginia Horse Industry Board, Southwest Virginia Agricultural Association, and the Virginia Christmas Tree Growers Association are proud sponsors of Virginia farming.
This program is brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Large or small, Virginia farmers work year-round to help put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Brought to you by Farm Family, Life, Auto, Business, Farm. Jim Gray, farmer's son, agribusiness owner, insurance agent. Another personal story on farmfamilypeople.com. Farm Family, the people you know. Hi everybody, welcome to Virginia Farming. I'm Amy Rocher. This week we're honored to welcome Virginia Secretary of Agriculture Todd Haymore to the show. We'll talk about what's happened during his 4 years in office and the changes he's seen. Then we'll learn about creating a garden with fall colors when we join Mark Viette in the garden. And as always, we'll have the Ag Calendar and a Minute in the Field video. All this plus the Ag News of the Week on this edition of Virginia Farming. Now that the national parks are open again, you can follow fall colors across the nation as part of the U.S. Forest Service Fall Foliage Hotline. The USDA's Bob Ellison has more.
Finding out how to get to the best fall colors is easier thanks to the U.S. Forest Service's Fall Foliage Hotline. People from across the nation can call 1-800-354-4595 to find out when leaves are changing in their parts of the country.
You call in and you identify what part of the country you're in, and then you're sent to a regional line that will tell you where the colors are peaking, whether you're in the upper Midwest, New England, Colorado, California, etc.
Also this year, the Forest Service Fall Colors website has an interactive map that can help people plan their trips to U.S. forests to see the fall colors.
That's a new feature this year that we're very excited about. There's still plenty of time for people around the country to go online, take a look, and maybe plan some trips, because we anticipate we're going to start seeing leaves turning color here in the next several weeks.
Kay says visiting forests in the fall is a great leisure time activity.
You don't have the crowds, you don't have the bugs, the mosquitoes, and other biting insects. And the trees are just putting on a magnificent display for people to go and check out with their friends and family. More than 245 million Americans lives within 100 miles of a national forest or grassland.
For more information, go to fs.fed.us/fallcolors/2013. In Washington, D.C. for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I'm Bob Ellison.
Thanks, Bob. Many farmers in the eastern region of the U.S. have a surplus of corn and soybeans. Now, a large harvest is a good thing, but finding the space to store it can be a challenge. So here's a few storage ideas. Convert existing buildings like pole barns or machinery sheds to temporarily store grain. Just make sure that the grain is protected from moisture, birds, rodents, and insects. A structurally sound reinforced empty silo with a roof and concrete floor may also be a good option for storing dry shelled grain. However you choose to store your grain, make sure the site has proper aeration, a plastic covering on a concrete floor, and good drainage. Even dry corn could spoil because of temperature-induced moisture migration. Well, South Dakota ranchers Troy and Stacy Hadrick have made it their mission to help fellow farmers and ranchers share their stories with consumers. In this segment, Cindy Campbell reports on how the Hadricks' ranch management has been affected by those relationships.
South Dakota ranchers Troy and Stacy Hadrick founded Advocates for Agriculture in 2006 as a way to motivate fellow producers to tell their story to consumers. Today, the couple travels several weeks a year, sharing tips and methods for connecting with the non-ag community.
You know, if we can go on the road for a couple of days and we convince one other producer to go out and make telling their story part of their chore list as well, like we do, then that's only helping us out too.
We also really feel that there's this strategic need for us to be out there connecting with people about what we're doing, because I believe that if I don't do that, my children will not have the same opportunities in agriculture, and that's what motivates me to continue to get out there and connect with people every day.
While most of their speaking engagements are geared towards those in agriculture, they do get to spend time at consumer events, talking to the urban population about their ranch.
It's one thing that we've noticed when consumers get to actually talk to a farmer rancher, which is something that most people don't get to do anymore. They really want to learn, they're interested to hear what you have to say, and they really trust what we're doing, and they want to know that we care about our cattle, and they want to know that we care about the food that we're providing for them.
As the Hadricks seek to raise awareness among those who are purchasing the beef they produce, it makes them ever more conscious of that product.
So when I was in college, I was on the meats judging team at South Dakota State, and it was really my first exposure to the other side of the industry, where the product that I was raising, and home feeding every day, now it ended up on somebody's plate. And I got to see that whole process and started to really understand why it was important for me as a rancher at the cow-calf level to be really concerned about that experience. And so that was my first step, or first exposure to it. And now as we go out and we get to interact more with consumers as we travel across the world now, and visit with them and hear about things they're interested in, I think it even drives it home even more.
As a result, they've made management changes in their own herd, such as implementing low-stress handling and an extensive AI program to continue to improve those genetics. I'm Cindy Campbell.
Thanks, Cindy. Todd Haymore has been Virginia's Secretary of Agriculture for nearly 4 years. We'll talk to Secretary Haymore about the changes he's seen in Virginia agriculture and his hopes for the future. That's straight ahead on Ag Insights. Virginia agriculture is growing and changing daily. To talk about some of those changes and what lies in store for the Commonwealth's largest industry is Virginia's Secretary of Agriculture, Todd Haymore. Mr. Secretary, welcome to Virginia Farming.
Amy, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. You are the voice for this state's two largest industries, agriculture and forestry. For our viewers at home and for me, remind me, what are those numbers? What do those contribute annually?
Virginia agriculture and forestry are Virginia's largest industries. Combined, it's about a $73 billion a year economic impact in Virginia, about 415,000 jobs all across the Commonwealth, north, south, east, west. So agriculture contributes about $52 billion annually to the economy. Forestry is about $17 to $18 billion, but again, combined about $73 billion, so it's a very, very strong economic powerhouse for the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And we just live in an agriculture-rich state. We have so many different climates and soil types that we can grow and produce so many different things.
That's true. My grandfather used to say that we were producing in Virginia everything from apples to zucchini. And he's not that far off. I mean, save for some of the tropical Mediterranean type crops. I mean, we are very blessed with a diversified portfolio of products that are in demand here in Virginia, around the country, and probably just as important around the world.
Now, you oversee VDACs and the Department of Forestry. Since you've been secretary, what changes have you seen in those departments?
They're both leaner and meaner. When I was commissioner of the Department of Agriculture under Governor Kane, 2007 to 2010, and then I've been secretary for Governor Bob McDonnell since the beginning of his administration in 2010. So we've had a lot of economic challenges during that time frame. We're emerging from those, I believe, in spite of the federal government shutdown. But I do think that we're continuing to see more progress and improvement in the economy. But VDACs and DOF have both shrunk. They've endured budget cuts, and some loss of personnel, so they're leaner and meaner. But I think they're doing an outstanding job. In particular, Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services has taken on some new responsibilities like charitable gaming. It's a very diversified agency. But the thing that I'm really proud of there is that Governor McDonnell, has made VDACs part of his economic development unit, working to grow the Virginia economy using Virginia's #1 industry, agriculture, and Department of of Agriculture also promotes wood products in the global marketplace. So the biggest change, leaner and meaner, but from VDAC's the standpoint of it is an economic development catalyst now, and it wasn't really utilized that way in the past. Department of Forestry, we've seen a lot of changes there too, leaner and meaner again. They're doing an outstanding job of promoting healthy forests. More than 16 million acres of Virginia's covered in forest land. It's about 60% of our land mass, and so they're doing a great job of making sure that we have healthy trees that are providing all kinds of economic and environmental benefits. But one of the things I'm proud of that the Department of Forestry has done over the last few years is really gone to instead of having sort of a localized approach to their operations, they're more regional. They're utilizing technology better. We've gotten them new resources for enhanced communications, so they can do a great job with less these local offices. They're more regional approach in their work. So a lot of changes, but I think they've weathered the storm. Both agencies have weathered the storm very well and are doing just fine, and doing the best work possible for the two largest industries in the state, agriculture and forestry.
I think they're doing a fine job as well.
Thanks.
Now you mentioned that you've been working with Governor McDonnell since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have really made some large strides in Virginia agriculture.
Thank you.
Do you have an accomplishment in that 4-year term that you're particularly proud of?
Well, first and foremost, thank you. I mean, agriculture and forestry being two of the largest industries in the state of Virginia, they deserve to be right at the top, having the governor's complete attention, being treated just like every other major economic driver in the state, be it manufacturing, IT, tourism, whatever. It's nice to have agriculture and forestry right there at the top, and I greatly appreciate the governor's strategic decision in 2010 to make agriculture and forestry solid components of his overall economic development, job creation strategy. I mean, he ran on a campaign of Bob's for Jobs, and he asked me, the largest industry in the state had not been included in economic development packages in the past, and he asked me why not, and I said, I don't know, Governor, let's see if we can change it, and he's done that. So I got to give him a lot of credit for making that decision. The two things I'm most proud of after that decision was made was the things that we've done to grow Virginia's presence in the global marketplace. When we came into office in 2010, we had one international trade office that was located in Hong Kong. The world's a lot bigger than just one place in Hong Kong. We now have offices in India, Europe, Russia, Latin America. Later this year, we'll open an office in Canada, and all those are designed to grow Virginia's place in the global marketplace, so our farmers will have more opportunities to sell. So I'm really proud that exports have reached an all-time high the last 3 years. This past year, a record $2.61 billion. Just outstanding opportunities for our growers. And then
I wanted to interrupt you just for 1 second. That $2.61 billion is an annual number.
The governor has told me that my last duty of being secretary under his administration is to make sure that we eclipse that number for 2013, and we're working really hard with our private sector companies to help them move more product in the global marketplace, and I'm hopeful that we'll be over that $2.61 billion figure for 2013.
And that's strictly agriculture products.
It's agricultural and forestry products. That's everything from soybeans to lumber products to apples to wine. It's all our great commodities that we're producing. And I think we're the 9th largest U.S. exporter in the country now. And we've got so many advantages. Again, a very diversified portfolio of products that we're exporting into the marketplace. We've got a great plan of outreach to countries that are developed, countries like China, Canada, countries that are coming on like India that have really strong economies that we're trying to tap into, and then working with some lesser known places to export like Venezuela and Cuba, where we have solid numbers in places like that. So a diversified portfolio of countries we're exporting to. We have the greatest port system in the world, from the water ports, the inland port, and our airports. We have to take advantage of those, and I think we've done a good job of utilizing those assets as well. So it's a lot of reasons that we have these great export numbers, but it all starts with our farmers and agribusinesses producing the best products that are in demand in the world, and we want to be sure that the Virginia story is told all around the world.
Well, I know. We talked about the shipping industry, and then a story that caught my eye that I talked about, it's probably been a couple months ago now, was about the crabs that we were now exporting, working with a local seafood company in Hampton Roads,
right.
in that area.
Yep.
It's just something I never really thought about.
Right.
And that's now a Virginia product.
Right. Virginia is the third largest seafood producer in the country. Most people don't know that, and we are a powerhouse when it comes to the seafood industry. And those products are in demand not only here in Virginia, but regionally, domestically, and around the world. I mean, every trade mission that we have done with the governor, and we've been on 9 trade missions that the governor has hosted since we've been in office, the seafood industry has played a role in those, promoting our seafood products, trying to generate more sales. And I'm really proud of the new sales that have been generated into Asia and into Europe as a result of some of these trade missions. And yes, so it's very diversified. Again, it goes back to almost how I started, is that we're producing a lot of great products here in Virginia that are in demand all around the world, and we just need to be sure that we're capturing the attention and letting people know that Virginia is open for business and we've got these outstanding products. And that's what those global trade offices are doing. They're promoting Virginia, and they're working in partnership with some of the other international offices that we have in economic development. The port has offices, so it's a really, really good team out there promoting the Commonwealth.
Well, something's working. With numbers like that, something's definitely working. We're poised to have a new governor at the first of the year. As Secretary of Agriculture, what are your expectations of this new governor?
Probably just one. Treat agriculture and forestry the same way that Governor McDonnell has treated them, as a key component of economic development in the state of Virginia. When you have the largest industries in the state, they need to be promoted as such, and the governor has just done an outstanding job of doing that, making them part of his economic development mission. The governor was in New York last week talking to the bond rating agencies about the economic climate in Virginia, and he told me when he came back on Friday that part of his conversation was everything that they had done to talk about how diversified the Virginia economy was and how the administration had promoted all aspects, including agriculture and forestry. So I was very proud to hear that, and I thank the governor. That's what the next governor, we've put in place a template for success for promoting agriculture and forestry in Virginia, and I believe the next governor should pick that template up, use it, build on it, and take agriculture and forestry successes to even higher levels. That's the one hope that I have for the next administration.
Well, I agree, and I hope that our viewers will let the candidates know how they feel about it, and
they should.
Hopefully
they should
to carry on that. We're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you very quickly about Virginia's small farmers. What do our gubernatorial candidates need to know about our Virginia small farms and just the rural way of life in general?
Well, they need to know that they're providing outstanding products, they're providing jobs, they're providing revenue, they're providing environmental benefits by taking good care of the land, being good stewards of the land. They need to understand that we're already dependent on foreign sources for fuel. Do we really want to be dependent on foreign sources for food? I don't think so. And one of the ways that we can make sure that we always have products to eat, not only for ourselves, but we can help feed our neighbors and help feed the world, is by making sure our small family farms are taken care of. They have opportunities for success. And I think one of the things that we've done, I was going to mention this earlier, is we created an agricultural development fund in Virginia that's specific to ag and forestry. So that's one way we can help the domestic side. I talked a lot about international and global marketplace, but creating this agricultural and forestry's economic development fund, we call it the APHID, the governor's Agricultural and Forestry Industries Development Fund. That's another way that we can work directly with small family farmers, small operations, agribusinesses, to help them grow and be successful. And another thing that we've done is worked with localities to make them plan how to utilize agriculture and forestry interest in their localities even better. So we do that through planning grants and other ways that we can make sure that localities understand the benefits of agriculture and forestry. So yes, our small family farmers need to be understood, they need to be heard, they need to be worked with so they can continue providing jobs, revenue, products without getting much in return.
Do you think they need protection from the local, regional, even federal governments, because they're it feels like they're being stepped on an awful lot.
There are some issues that challenge landowners and small family farmers, and I think we've really tried to do a good job of recognizing those challenges and trying to provide more benefits, more economic benefits, more opportunities for them to be successful. And I think the federal government understands that as a whole. I know that there are some components of federal government that are a little bit tougher on farming and provide more pressure for our small family farmers. But so yes, I mean, I guess the easy answer is there always needs to be protection from government overreach. But I think that in Virginia, our localities on the whole and the state government on the whole really do a good job of working with our small family farms to have a good balance of the regulatory issues that we all have to live under, but providing more opportunities for success. And certainly at the the federal level, we've got great congressmen like Congressman Hurt, Congressman Goodlatte here in the Valley, Senators Warner, Senators Kane. They all understand how important agriculture is, and I think they're doing a good job of looking out for us at the federal level as well.
Well, I hope so. This is, like you say, it's our largest, economy, and we certainly can't afford to mess with it too much.
No, and I think we need to keep that in perspective. Every time that we open our mouth to feed ourselves, every time we put clothes on, and every time we go to bed, we have a roof over our heads or a frame bed that we're sleeping in. That's agriculture and forestry. It does not get any more fundamental to life than that.
Exactly. Well, we're out of time, but I had one last question for you. What are your future plans? What are your future plans when this new governor comes in?
I don't know right now. Obviously, new governors have the ability to create their own teams, and so we'll see what the future holds. Again, I want whoever the next governor is to treat agriculture and forestry the same way that Bob McDonnell has, and hopefully take it to higher levels of success. And if I work with the governor directly or indirectly to help make that happen, that would be a great sense of pride for me, because I came from an agricultural background, born and raised on a family farm in Pittsylvania County, and I want to see the industry from which I came be successful long beyond my term in office. So we'll see what the future holds. Right now, I'm just focusing in on those last 100 days that we have with Governor McDonnell and trying to get as many projects on behalf of agriculture and forestry completed as possible before January 11th or 12th rolls around.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And certainly thank you for everything you've done while you've been in office. I think you've stood up for Virginia very well.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here today, Mr. Secretary.
Thanks,
we really do
appreciate it. Anytime.
We'll be right back. Creating a garden with a lot of fall color can take a while, but it's definitely worth the wait. Let's join Mark Viette in the garden.
Creating a garden with fall color is not hard. The only hard thing is you need to start, because in some cases it could take 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years for plants or trees to really exhibit their showiness in color. This is the native fringe tree, Chiananthus, that you'll many times see up in the Appalachian Mountains in bloom in the spring with beautiful yellowish white hanging flowers. It's known as Granddaddy's beard. We also have our native witch hazel, and this also can bloom in the fall, as you see here with the nice color. This is the full moon maple, Acer aconitifolium, and one of my favorites is the burning bush or the fire bush, and this is euonymus, and it has great color. But not only does it have the color that you see here, it has the berries or fruit which will feed our wildlife and our birds. Remember, investing in fall color could last a lifetime or multiple lifetimes. Trees can live as long as 100 years or longer. So you might plant something tiny, but it might look like that beautiful sugar maple behind me, which has great color. You can find maples that have yellow colors, red colors, scarlet colors. The choice is immense. Of course, I can't forget one of my favorite trees, and that's going to be the sourwood tree. This is a plant that grows up and down the Appalachian Mountains, and sometimes you might find something that says sourwood honey or honey from sourwood trees. They're great. They got beautiful flowers and seed pods that last a long time, and then they have sort of this pinkish color that almost turns scarlet by the end of the fall season. I cannot forget to mention one of my other favorite plants, and that's going to be the beautyberry. calicarpa or the beautyberry is a native plant, and there's forms that are white, there's forms that are purple, and they have these beautiful berries late in the season. Now, the one good thing about this is birds don't really feed on the berries, so the berries stay all season long. Remember, plant now for many years of that brilliant fall color. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
Taking a look at the ag calendar, the 56th annual Urbana Oyster Festival is slated for November 1st and 2nd. Enjoy food, crafts, wine tasting, and of course, an oyster shucking contest. More information can be found at urbanaoysterfestival.com. Well, that does it for our show. Thanks for watching and have a great week. I'm Amy Rocher for Virginia Farming.
This program's brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. From apples to zucchini, Virginia farmers work hard to put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Brought to you by Farm Family. Life, auto, business, farm. Nancy Asher, stable owner, visionary, agent of change. Another personal story on farmfamilypeople.com. Farm Family, the people you know.